It's still Women's Month, and in the spirit of celebrating female achievers in Nigeria's tech space, I chat with a female social entrepreneur committed to educating Nigerians through STEM education. Jadesola Adedeji is the co-founder of STEM Mess Resources, and she shares her experience in the tech field with us. Enjoy the chat.
I think for us, or for me generally, is letting my work speak for me. So excellence is always key. Knowledge and being at the top of my game is key for me because I think your work really speaks for you. And I think over the years, I've probably hidden behind that mindset, in that let my work speak for me, my gender doesn't matter. And in fact, in the early days, I used to get emails from people and they would say, "Oh, dear Mr. Adedeji," because the assumption was because it was a sort of STEM-based, tech-based company, that the head or the co-founder of the company was male. And I used to allow that until I sat back and I thought about it and I thought, no, let's be more visible. Let my work be visible, but I also need to be visible for a variety of reasons, to highlight women in this space, and principally for me to be a role model to other females and even young girls that are coming up. So I think I've turned things around in that way, in highlighting the work we do, highlighting the work other females in the sector is doing, because what we're trying to achieve is a system change. So a mindset change, and really visibility of ourselves, our work, and each other, I feel is the thing that would really make this inequality in the tech field balance somewhat. So that's really how I coped with it.
And can you share some of the challenges you face while working in this male-dominated field?
I think it's really the assumption that, you're female, you can't really know much about technology, or you don't have an interest in technology. And that what do you really know to the extent of your male counterparts? So I think it's really dispelling, those notions and really speaking boldly. I think with women, there's a confidence gap, not just the tech skills gap, there's a confidence gap. Because I think from a young age, we've been wired to think in a certain stage. So there's this UN report that says that children as young as 6, females in particular, by the age of 6, already feel that there's certain things that they can't do, or that there's certain things that boys are better at doing. And that boys are smarter than them, or that girls are only supposed to do a certain type of thing. So unfortunately, I think we've grown up with that. There's a generation of us that have grown up with that. And that's part of what we're trying to change with some of the programs that we do with kids, that, your career has no gender. And really, that's the message that we keep pushing across.
Now, talking about confidence, how do you overcome something like that? How do you deal with it?
I think it's really pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I'm not naturally a shy person, but I find over the years, I've found that, sometimes speaking in public spaces, the preparation beforehand just completely wreaks havoc to my confidence and my nerves. But I think it's really, pushing myself more and more with the mindset that I'm a STEM advocate, I'm a technology advocate for women, and that I have this platform and I have this voice, and really just pushing myself out, not for my sake, but really for the sake of others that are coming along. So that's the way I've kind of changed my mindset in thinking about it.
Let's talk about biases now, because despite the awareness and recognition of women and girls in science and tech, gender stereotypes, gender roles are still a big issue. How can we go about changing this narrative?
Like I said, again, I think visibility, I think also being really intentional and deliberate in the types of things that we're doing, showcasing. So this week, as part of IWD, my team and I were actually working in a company that sponsored females, young girls, 11 to 13, to participate in a digital workshop. So I think really more sort of collaborative partnerships to raise awareness is key. And talking of collaboration, one of the things that we did last year was to partner with some other STEM educators, and we organized a STEM festival. I'm glad to say that 3 out of 4 of us came together and we were female, and we just had one agenda: exposure, Experience is key. And that interaction, the more you introduce the concepts of technology to children at a young age, the more you're able to change their mindset. So we are quite singular in that aspect in promoting science education and technology education on scale. So I think it's important to put that out. We had phone calls from people in Kwara, from Katsina, who had seen it on TV or on the live stream or had seen the publication. So we were really ninja about getting the word out there. And I think that's what we are committed to continuing to do.
Talking about addressing some of these challenges, you mentioned, more awareness, but could policies also have an impact?
I think so, because from what we did, we actually had government reach out to us also. So when I say the visibility and awareness, obviously it has to come from top downwards, and that has to come from policy. So curriculum is obviously the obvious one, and really having a federal mindset and commitment to really overhaul our curriculum and make it more 21st century ready, because it isn't. I think I can confidently say the things that I was learning many decades ago when I was a young child here is still partly what we're learning, and it hasn't really moved with the times or the requirements of the 21st century workforce. So for sure, I think policy, and part of what we're doing in awareness is advocacy. So that's part and parcel of it in terms of, making sure it's in there. And I would say Lagos State actually have been quite good with that in promoting innovation technology and realizing that really we need to empower our youth. We need to really look at our education again and the way education is taught and learned. So for sure, policy, I think, is the one that would enable us to really have a systematic nationwide change in the education system.
What can we do to make a difference, especially when it comes to encouraging, young girls to take up careers in science and tech?
Mm-hmm. I think access is key. Exposure to workshops or even exposure to information is key. We have to be intentional in recruiting females into different workshops that we have, and role modeling is key. So I'm proud to say I'm a scientist. I'm obviously someone in tech, and I always, every opportunity that I get, as well as other people in this field, to showcase that, look, this is what a real life person in technology looks like, and start dispelling the notions that some of our females, have in their head. Amplifying the work we do, amplifying the work of other female role models in the field, I think is key, and really coming together to ensure that mindset of only certain people can do certain things, and starting early. I mentioned that by the age of 6, girls already have this mindset. So how can we incorporate some of this age-appropriate, STEM-based, technology-based learning to early years? So as you're learning your ABC, a lot of our kids are familiar with technology anyway. So instead of them being consumers of technology, let them start participating in interacting with technology, computational thinking, and creativity. Critical thinking, I think, is the key in that. And the earlier the exposure is, the better. And I contend that we'll see, education is a long game. I contend that we'll see the benefits of that in years to come.
Well, what advice would you give to women entering the tech field? Maybe something you wish you had known when you just started.
I think, I wish I had shown up more. I wish I had been more visible earlier. I wish I had participated in the table. Yes, let your work speak for you, but also speak for yourself. There has to be self-advocacy that I'm here, I don't know everything, but this is what I do know, and this is what I'm bringing to the table in terms of diversity of thoughts and diversity of experience.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on Tech Trends.
Thank you for having me.